Hello everybody, welcome to episode 20 of Cheap Haass. In this episode we go to Japan. Hopefully we can have a good outing this time. We had a bunch of damage done last week, so let's check on how much stuff we have to repair in the car. Alright, so for Cher's car, we only had one front wing that got damaged in that race, so we're just going to swap that one out. We also have one that's missing on car 2, but we'll go look at that in a second. We had an underfloor that failed. Alright, there's a couple things missing on this car. Basically everything except the side pods. So the underfloor failed. We'll replace that. We don't have a suspension piece there, so I don't know what we're going to do there. I know we have some that are being manufactured, but I might need to cancel the job and just do an emergency manufacture. We'll replace the rear wing. Guess we got to put the old rear wing on the car. I guess we're going to not put any more of those on. We're going to swap out the front wing. And then we're going to put on a new chassis that we just built. Alright, let's go check on that suspension. Alrighty, so this is what we can do. We can get rid of our 2-day... We have 7 days until this is done, but I think... Yeah, we only have 4 days until we go to Japan. So what we can do is we can take a refund of $300,000, so we just lose $300,000. We'll take that. And then we are going to go to suspension. So this is the quickest way that we can get a part that we can afford to where we still have some budget left for the remainder of the year. So we're going to do one emergency manufacture of the suspension pieces. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to make a front wing, or 2 new front wings manufactured, and then we're going to make 2 suspension pieces as well. All right, so here's your suspension pieces. I think as well, I'm going to just take the $2.12 million I have in the facilities that I can spend, and I'm just going to allocate it to the aerodynamics part. So I just have $2 million extra that I can use for parts manufacturing. We're done with development for the year. We're just going to focus on making sure that we have enough parts to finish out the season. All right, here's your update on the financial regulations from last episode. Weirdly, AlphaTauri voted for it. They, I don't think they've scored a point yet this year, have they? No, they had not. So a team that's not scored a point voted for them getting less money. All right, before we get into qualifying, there was a quick little crash that happened for Nick DeFries in qualifying. So here's a replay of that.
Here we are, going into turn 9. Oh, and a fairly substantial crash there. Now their confidence will have taken a hit with that.
So Alex Palou, last race out, destroyed a gearbox as well as damaged his ERS really badly. We did not buy any parts, but we did put on some parts that we had taken some grid penalties or bought previously that are now going on the car for the first time. So that's why he gets his 5-place grid penalty. All right, so this is our strategy for the race, just basically flip-flopped the same strategy. Cher is going to be starting closer up to the field, or closer up to the sharp end, so he's going to be on the softer compound, and then we're going to put Palou, who's an 18th, on the harder compound. That'll be a strategy for the race. Let's get into the Japanese Grand Prix.
We're all good to go here in Japan with 53 laps around the Suzuka circuit. A chance to see just what Charles Leclerc can achieve here.
Second row of the grid lining up third. That's a really strong chance of good point or even a podium here.
But remember, anything can happen in Formula One. Get ready. It's the Japanese Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go.
All right, so a little bit different strategy from what we usually do. We're going to start them on overtake. Let's just see if that helps with our starts here. As Palou immediately drops position, and so does Cher. Cher's actually bunching up the pack a little bit here as well. Oh, that was interesting. I haven't seen that before. Someone kind of running a little bit wide and getting in the grass. Or not even wide, just kind of clipping. So this feels very strung out at the moment. We're just going to kind of run this 4 times speed just to kind of get through this a little bit quicker. We're going to try to focus on Pourchaire for a moment. I think Pelot is where they are. We're just going to focus on trying to get Pourchaire caught up to Norris, but seems like we can't do that at the moment. All right, so Pelot's the only one on hard tires. Interesting. All right, so DRS is enabled. Pourchaire does have Bonjujo on his ass, so he should be put under a lot of pressure here. Pelot is actually dead last on pace and is not able to catch up to anybody. So we're going to put him on deploy and see if we can get him to catch up to anybody. Pourchaire is still ahead of Zhou, which is good, but I feel like that's going to change pretty quickly here. Pelot is struggling to catch up to DeFries, which is not good. So we're going to put him on top up. Pourchaire is still holding steady. You can tell this gap here between Norris and Tsunoda, and the cars in front are on... Oh, so everyone around me is on the soft compound tire as well. Minor engine damage on Pelot. We have an older engine in this car. I think we're going to put that in until it explodes. And then we're going to switch to our last engine for the year for him. All right, now we're starting to catch up to cars in front. And we're going to put both of these guys onto standard now on their tires. We're not too far off of... Now we are a little far off of Albon, but Norris we're not super far off of. We need Ocon to get up there to kind of keep these guys out of the points. Pelot is now immediately starting to drop off pretty bad. I wonder if that's partly due to the engine. Guess we're just going to go 8 times here, maybe go 16 times per minute. Just kind of see what changes. Pourchaire loses a position immediately. At least we're in the DRS, it looks like, for Pourchaire. Oh. So Zhou locks up. Goes all the way to the back, which is good. We're gonna go deploy for a lap here. Let's see if we can just catch up to the back of Bottas. Pelot is by Zhou, but Zhou had a big problem. I don't think that's indicative of much. I'm just going to keep Pourchaire on overtake until I can see a DRS. Okay, we're going to go top up now. Yep. Lost time doing that to Bottas, which is funny. Right, we're going to get overtaken here by Ocon. Yep, there we go. Ocon passes us and immediately dusts us in the DRS. I was about to say it looked like Zhou had an issue. So we're ahead of them now on strategy, but it looks like Pelot's already going to get overtaken by the McLarens. Not great. And we're still far away from our pit stop. And I assume if Norris is pitting this early, I think Norris is going for a two-stop strategy. We're on a one-stop strategy. I think for both of these guys, we're going to extend their stint length up until we look like we're close to getting under 30% on the tires. Looks like Sargent's going to pass Pourchaire here. And then Sargent makes his first pit stop of the race. Started off the lap on 37% for Pourchaire. I think Pourchaire is going to pit at the end of this lap, and it should be, yep. So we did that exactly how we had it written up.
Box this lap.
Copy, box.
Might need to pick up the pace a little bit.
Copy.
All right, so Pelot. So Pelot's still got a pretty fair way until he has to pit. Ooh, did not mean to click that twice. Are we having the mouse problem that we had before? All right, that's that. We're gonna put him on standard. Let him pit. Should be our last stop of the race. We have a pit stop issue, so it's about 4 seconds. What was a caution for? It's for Sonoda running wide. All right. Okay, so Pelot is getting close here on pitting. I think this might be next lap, but we're going to pit Pourchaire, hopefully. Hopefully we get the prompt for it. Yep. We did that basically exactly how we needed to in the first stint.
Box now, box now.
Copy, box.
Also, speaking of our pit stops, we've still not to this point scored a point in the DHL pit stop challenge, and because we're consistently doing like 2.7s, I'm just trying to get the mistake percentages down. I'm just trying to keep them from being exhausted. But yeah, we're just getting lapped now, Pelot specifically, and we're running. And we're not saving enough fuel. I think we're 3 kilograms down at the start of the race, so we're going to put them on conserve on the fuel. But I think to parry that, we're going to have them just go aggressive for at least a couple laps. We're going to at least get it down to 1, and then we're going to stop as Pourchaire overtakes somebody. It was Piastri. All right, we're going to put them both on standard now. Balanced. Hopefully recover some pace here. We're gonna have Pourchaire deploy. Sargent has a pit stop issue, so that's good for us. So he's 15 seconds behind Pourchaire. But he's probably gonna be on some soft tires. I put you on top up for a minute. Oh, VSC, VSC. Okay, so Porschere's here. Can we get Porchere in? I think we're too late. We're too late. Yeah, we are. All right, so conserve, conserve, harvest. Oh, it's Pelot.
And there's been quite a crash. Here we are then at the 11th corner. Tries to get by. The car's coming together right there. And that won't do their confidence any good.
Oh my god. Oh, we missed the window too to pit. Hopefully they keep it VSC. Alright, we're just gonna pit now since we can. Soft compound. And hopefully that'll last. It's her 16th place. Albon locks it up under BSC. Interesting. DeFries gets a time penalty, obviously, because that was ridiculous. All right. There you go, green flag. All right, so we're going to put neutral, push, aggressive on the tires. And these will, yeah, so we can just push these tires to their limit. Yeah, we're going to keep the DRS or ERS kind of on top up until we can get these tires warmed up. I mean, we'd have to get from here all the way to here in about 8 laps, which I don't think we can do. All right, we're going to go deploy, go full attack. Let's just see what we can do here. Our tires are immediately about to explode, so we're not going to do that. Another VSC. What was a VSC for?
We've got a yellow flag here.
It's Alonso. Oh man.
Yeah.
All right. There we go. I wonder if I have the Warren ERS in Porschere's car. We gotta get up to like here. Alright, that's a lot closer than we were. I'm not gonna get there unless we get a safety car. But at this point, yeah, it's too late for a safety car. Man, this has been a disaster of a finish to the season.
Well, that was a truly awful day at the office for the Haas driver.
That was a bitterly disappointing retirement. The team certainly wouldn't have wanted their race to end this way.
And the Monegasque driver certainly proved his worth with a terrific drive today.
That takes them up to 3 wins this season. They proved just so hard to beat.
All right, so the Japanese Grand Prix, we have Leclerc getting a win, so he's closing up just a little bit on Max Verstappen. Not enough to, might be enough if he keeps at it for the final couple rounds, but closes up a little bit, has a way closer championship battle than we did in real life. We were down in 15th place. We pitted for the soft tires. I mean, we didn't have the pace, but you know, that would have been nice if we had gotten a VSC, and then probably that second VSC ended up being a safety car. But like I said, we're just keeping our fingers crossed. Below got absolutely destroyed by Nick DeFries, so that was a bummer. More parts that are probably destroyed that we can't afford, that we just spent all this start of the episode kind of talking about. Your drivers' championship, Leclerc 22 points behind Verstappen. Close enough, 30 something last time out, not 30, probably like 29 or something, kind of inching closer. But I think you'll see Verstappen maybe win a race or two, so it's going to be really hard for Leclerc to close up unless Verstappen has a mistake. Looking down towards the bottom, McLaren now have 5 points, which is really not good for us. Didn't even realize that during the race results. Your Constructors' Championship, Ferrari close up a little bit, but they're too far behind, I believe, to have a realistic shot. We have McLaren now tied on points with us, so we're in a really difficult situation here where we might find ourselves in 8th place in the Constructors. All right, so that concludes another episode of Cheap Haass. I hate being very negative, but, you know, it's just another not fantastic result. Kind of destroyed more parts in the cars and, you know, had more problems. We had a potential shot at getting points, but we're unable to capitalize. But we wouldn't have been afforded that shot on pace anyways. So just really want to have these clean races coming up. I don't think that's super realistic. I think we're going to probably have a couple parts to get crashed up and stuff throughout the season. We can't just sit here and replace the driver. Too expensive and really not worth it to do it this late in the season. So we're going to have a final couple race scrap here. We're going to be real tight on parts and everything to the finish of the season. As this playthrough was expected to be. Can't act like I didn't self-impose any of this. So hopefully next time out at Qatar, we can have a good time out in the sprint race leading into the Grand Prix. Hope y'all enjoy this. Have a good rest of your week. Like, comment, subscribe, all that dumb YouTube stuff, and peace.